What's up everybody, Damon here, and in today's gaming news, E3 has officially been canceled. PSVR 2 might be a complete disaster. We've also got the best-selling games of February, games with gold, and an HD 2D classic coming to PlayStation and PC. This is your Daily Fix. Almost a year after announcing its return, the Entertainment Software Association announced today to its members that this year's E3 has been canceled. The event was supposed to be held from June 13th through June 26th at the Los Angeles Convention Center and would have been the first in-person E3 event since 2019. Two sources have confirmed to IGN that the organization announced the cancellation via an email sent out to its members today. The email said that while E3 remains a beloved event and brand, that the 2023 version, quote, simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. E3's return for this year was announced last June, alongside the confirmation that E3 2022 had been canceled. The news comes as multiple big names in the industry, from Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, and more recently, Ubisoft and Sega, announced that they would not be attending E3 in any capacity, with most opting to host their own digital showcases. While this news is unsurprising at this point, it's still disappointing for those of us that used to look forward to an exciting week jam-packed with big game announcements and theatrical one-upmanship from all the big publishers. There's also something to be said for media outlets like IGN getting our hands on these upcoming games and sharing our thoughts and opinions with you. That's something we don't get from a carefully scripted Nintendo Direct or Sony State of Play. RIP E3 2023. Sony's PlayStation VR 2 is reportedly off to an underwhelming start, with the virtual reality headset only expected to sell 270,000 units by the end of March. As reported by Bloomberg, the figure comes from research firm IDC, and while 270,000 sounds like a big number, reports last year indicated that Sony was looking to produce 2 million PSVR 2 units to be sold by the end of March. Vice President of Data and Analytics at IDC, Francisco Geronimo, told Bloomberg that Sony would need to cut the price of the PSVR 2 to stop its launch from being a, quote, complete disaster. The headset, which already sits at $550, is made even pricier by the additional $500 cost of the required PlayStation 5. Geronimo said, consumers around the world are facing rising costs of living, rising interest rates, and rising layoffs. VR headsets are not top of mind for most consumers under the current economic climate. I suspect a price cut on the PSVR 2 will be needed to avoid a complete disaster of their new product. The headset launched on February 22nd with 42 games, including flagship title Horizon Call of the Mountain, and a variety of VR updates for critically acclaimed games like Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil Village. It isn't a bad device at all. We gave it a 9 out of 10. It's just really expensive at a time when people need to be more careful with their cash, and there isn't a lot of compelling software for it. Upcoming PSVR 2 games include, well, this is kind of the problem. There's not much on the horizon. Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue is coming in May. Oh, that Humanity game is coming to PS4 and PS5 in May, and there's a PSVR 2 version of it. That looks really cool, but you don't need PSVR 2 to play it. There's not much coming that's going to make someone say, wow, I have got to get a PSVR 2 to play that. Moving on, Hogwarts Legacy was the best-selling game of February, its launch month. The sales numbers were shared by Matt Piscatella, Executive Director and Games Industry Analyst at Circana, formerly known as MPD. Hogwarts Legacy ranked first in February sales for PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. Not only is it last month's bestseller, it's also the best-selling game of 2023 so far, surpassing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the Dead Space remake, and Madden NFL 23. And yes, it is very common for last year's Call of Duty to be the best-selling game of the following year for many months into it. The Last of Us also climbed up the charts last month as well, likely because of the successful HBO show. The Last of Us Part 1 ranked 6th on the sales chart, up from 11th in January, besting Wild Hearts, Like a Dragon Ishin, and Octopath Traveler 2, all of which were new releases. Last month, Warner Bros. Games announced that Hogwarts Legacy sold over 12 million copies 2 weeks after its launch. The company touted the game as its biggest global launch ever, and it's still coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch later this year. Microsoft has announced the Xbox Games with Gold lineup for April, and, well, it's another couple head scratchers. Subscribers can look forward to Out of Space, Couch Edition, and Peaky Blinders Mastermind. Out of Space will be available first from April 1st to the 30th, and Peaky Blinders later from April 16th to May 15th. Out of Space is set in outer space. The aim of the game is to create resources and work out housekeeping systems to build a sustainable environment, all while dealing with a deadly alien infestation that has settled in. Peaky Blinders is a puzzle adventure game that acts as a prequel of sorts to the first season of the TV show, with players taking control of Thomas Shelby and his cohorts. New games approaching also means that March's games with gold will soon leave the service, so be sure to download Lamentum, Truderbrook, and Sudden Strike 4 Complete Collection before it's too late. I'm sorry, what are these games and who is downloading them? The top comment on this IGN article reads, "Someone needs to Old Yeller this games with gold."
There's no hope for him now, Travis. He's suffering.
In some unfortunate news, Electronic Arts has announced that it will be laying off around 6% of its staff by the end of September. The company said the decision is part of its restructuring plan. Last year, EA employed 12,900 people globally at the end of March, as per the company's last annual report. A 6% reduction in its workforce means that around 775 employees may be impacted. EA also publicly released CEO Andrew Wilson's letter to the staff, where he said the company is, quote, "moving away from projects that do not contribute to our strategy, reviewing our real estate footprint, and restructuring some of our teams." There will be opportunities for employees to transition onto other projects, says EA. Those laid off will receive severance pay, as well as healthcare benefits and career transition services from the company. EA already laid off staff earlier this year, when more than 200 QA workers were let go last month. Those staff members operated from the Baton Rouge, Louisiana office and worked on Apex Legends. And finally today, Square Enix has announced that Live Alive will come to PC, PS4, and PS5 on April 27th. It was first released on Nintendo Switch last July. Well, I guess it was first released on the Super Famicom in 1994. But this one is an HD 2D remake of the original that was only released in Japan. It follows 8 stories that take place in different time periods, from prehistory to the distant future, so very Octopathish. Square Enix also announced that PlayStation Plus members and Steam users can pre-order the game at a 20% discount. Additionally, a free playable demo is available for both platforms and includes 3 of the 8 stories: The Wild West, Twilight of Edo Japan, and The Distant Future. Live Alive is on my list of games I really want to get to, but there's just so much else to play right now. I need to finish up Resident Evil 4, then I want to get back to Octopath Traveler 2. Oh, and Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. Oh, and Metroid Prime Remastered. So I'll see you when I see you, Live Alive. And that is your daily fix for Thursday, March 30th. Now that you're caught up on the news, check out our review in progress for Diablo 4. I'm Jamin Hatfield, and for all your gaming news, stay tuned to IGN.